So before we get into the video, I want to give a couple sort of notes about what's going on. First thing is, if my audio sounds a little different, that's because we're right in the middle of a big move, and basically I don't have everything set up the same way. I don't have all of my equipment. I have my mic, but I'm in a different place. Like, I don't have my pop filter, for example, so it's just not going to sound good. Anyways, just so you know, if I sound a little weird, that's why. Also, another thing, basically if you are looking to improve at different mechanics and skills, and pretty much all of the mechanics that you can learn in Rocket League, click on the link in the description below to check out my Rocket League Mechanics Master Course. I've had this out for a while. A ton of people have absolutely loved it and learned a ton from it. So if you guys are sort of in those like middle ranks, maybe say anywhere honestly from like the low ranks to say like low champ, diamond plat, like this would be absolutely perfect for you guys, and you'd learn a ton, and I think you'd really like it. Anyways, let's jump into this. So in Rocket League, there are a ton of moves. It is a physics-based game, so really you can almost say that there are an infinite amount of possible moves that you can learn and pull off in Rocket League. Technically, you could say that. But there are some moves that you just spend hours and hours in free play trying to get really good at, and that's really the beauty of it. You spend all of this time to get a move down, and then you realize that there are so many other moves that you need to work on to improve and to sort of have in your arsenal. Some moves are more flashy and some are more efficient and effective, which are usually the more useful ones, even though people love to practice the flashy stuff. I know that I'm guilty of this at points. So today I'm gonna bring you 5 moves, 5 seemingly unstoppable moves, and if you do them right, like honestly, they're basically impossible to stop if you can do them correctly every time. And also I'm gonna show you how to do them. So let's jump into number 5. I'm sure many of you have fallen victim to this one, even if by accident. Probably the single most difficult move in the entire game to stop, and that is the air dribble bump. Now this move, without a doubt, has to be the most rage-inducing move that someone can pull off on you. I don't know if there is anything more frustrating than putting all of your focus and all of your energy into going up to save the ball, and then bam, you're just completely stopped, out of the way, and it feels like you just never had a chance. Like there was nothing that you could have done to really stop it. Now, if you are a Squishy fan, I'm sure that you've also seen this move a million times. He loves it because he knows how effective it is, and he's really good at it. The air dribble bump works no matter how high the ranks are, like no matter how good the people are that you're playing against. Obviously, there are ways to get around them, but like you see this in RLCS. Now, a move this powerful has to be insanely difficult. It has to be up there with hitting like a triple flip reset, right? Well, not exactly. That's also why you see this move so often. It's actually not that hard to pull off, and once you've practiced it, if you have a certain level of mechanical skill, not necessarily the highest level, and once you understand how to do it, like it's really not that difficult. There are a few different ways that you can go about practicing and doing this move. Basically, you're carrying the ball and sort of popping it up into an air dribble, jumping off the wall with the ball for an air dribble. But honestly, even though it's called an air dribble bump, you don't really have to be able to air dribble to pull this off. All you have to do is pop the ball into the air in front of the opponent's net. How you do this is really irrelevant. You just need to be able to make sure that the ball is heading towards the goal, and the only way that they can save it is for them to jump up in the air. Now that's the really easy part. I'm sure most of you can lob a ball on net and put it like into the net pretty easily. The hard part is getting the bump. So I'm going to give you the secret to getting these bumps almost every time. Really, I probably shouldn't even say this because the last thing I want is for all of you to be air dribble bumping more in ranked, but I'll tell you guys anyways. We can just sort of keep it secret between all the people who watch this video. So this is gonna sound crazy, but stop aiming for the opponent. I know that sounds insane, but hear me out. Since you've popped the ball into the air, there is really only one real path that they can take, especially if you've pulled this move off quickly, and that is straight for the ball. So instead of aiming for their car, just get in the path of the ball. Like just get in front of the ball and its trajectory. Your goal isn't to aim specifically for them. Your goal is to get in the way of the ball. Don't even think about it like you're trying to go for a bump on them. Think about it as if you're creating a wall in front of the ball that they have to go through. And since you're moving with the ball and you have that momentum, you'll just smash them out of the way every time, or they'll try to avoid you and they'll miss the ball anyways. It's like, honestly, it's pretty foolproof. If you know how to do it right, you can pretty much do it every time. A good way to practice though is to just go into free play, practice jumping off of the wall with the ball, and then after you've gotten a couple touches, just practice flying in front of the ball. That's pretty much it. Okay, number 2 is the 45-degree flick. So if you're wanting to go into free play right now and practice a move that you can use over and over again, this should be it. The 45-degree flick is probably the simplest, best flick in the game. I'll talk about another flick in this video, but the reason I say that the 45-degree flick is so useful is because it's one of those moves that you can use multiple times in a match, and it's just so powerful. It's pretty simple. The other move, or the other flick we're going to talk about, is not simple. So if you play ones, you can use this move constantly. It's so hard to stop. Someone can pull off a 45-degree flick in an instant, and they get so much power. And from the way that you move your car, it even slings the ball like at an angle, which makes it incredibly hard as a defender. When you're shadowing someone and they come at you with this flick, you really don't know where the flick is going to go until it's heading in that direction, and usually there's enough power that it's already too late. This one, I seriously recommend that you guys go practice. This move will win you games. If you want to give it a shot, I'll tell you how it's done. Let's say you're dribbling towards an opponent's net. Basically jump with the ball and turn your car in a direction, let's say to the right. What I would do is start holding air roll and pull my stick diagonally and down to the left. And my car has air rolled just a little bit. I hit the jump button again, and obviously the car will flick the ball. It's kind of tricky, but it's worth practice, and King Randy actually has a really good in-depth tutorial for this if you guys want to go see and get more detail about how to do this. But basically, you're just turning and air rolling a little bit to one side and flicking the opposite way. All right, move number 3, and while we can use this move that I've already mentioned in any game mode, there's no doubt that those moves are really most effective in 1v1, sometimes 2v2, but here's a move that is perfect when you have teammates. This is the Infield Pass, and really, seriously, don't underrate this move. If you pull off a perfect infield pass, it will be a goal 95 times out of 100, especially if you're in a somewhat higher rank. If you can get a pass over quickly to your teammate while he's in space, it's so amazing for two main reasons. One, it really puts the defense on the wrong foot. They will almost always find themselves caught out of position and in a super awkward spot trying to save whatever comes at them from sort of a weird angle. And two, it's so easy to shoot off of a pass. A ball coming at you cleanly with momentum is the easiest shot in the game. It doesn't take an RLCS level pro to shoot a 110, 120 km/h shot on target off of a pass like this that's literally just coming across the field. They are super deadly, and they're pretty easy, especially infield passes, because they're great because you're moving very quickly at the ball and the ball is moving laterally. And even if you're, say, like a diamond or maybe even a plat, you've definitely been destroyed by the opposing team because they had a banger of a pass play, even if it was on accident. These are just really simple, and they sort of make sense to most players. Now, how to do it? Realistically, passing itself is fairly straightforward. The hardest part is having really the vision to make the pass and having that sort of game sense to know when and where to pass it. The only real tip that I can give you for this is just look for your teammates all the time. Look for the pass first, and if the pass isn't there, then go for the solo play. And the more you do it, the better you will get at it. One thing I will say though is if you don't do this already, you should really learn how to position yourself for passes, which is actually almost more important than actually passing accuracy. Everybody thinks it's all about having the perfect pass, but in reality, it's more about the positioning of the person receiving a pass and their ability to jump up and actually hit the ball on target. So don't leave your net open or anything stupid like that, but give your teammate an option. And a great person to watch again is somebody like Squishy. Watch how many times he positions himself for a pass, even if it never comes in. It's just the little things like that, like just being ready and being upfield, ready for a pass, that will really take your gameplay to the next level. All right, number 4, and here's the other flick that I mentioned earlier. This is the breezy flick. Now, this flick on its own isn't the most effective flick that you can use. The key to stopping a breezy is to stop them quickly before they can really execute it, because it does take a little bit of time, and that's why I would say the 45-degree flick is still probably a better flick than the breezy. But if you have the space and they're not in a position to challenge right away, this is deadly. And let's be real, it is one of the most satisfying looking moves in the game. It's so graceful looking and complicated and beautiful. So let me break it down really quick, because there's not too much going on with this move, but don't let that fool you because it's super hard to pull off. Oh, and also I should mention that this was sort of invented by Breezy. I guess some people would probably contest that, but he at the very least popularized it, was really good at it, or maybe was the first person consistently doing it. I don't know the whole history of it, but I know everybody and their mom is doing it now. Basically, you jump and tornado spin, which is holding your analog stick one way while air rolling the other with a dedicated air roll button, and halfway through that tornado spin, you let go of air roll and flat spin. the rest of the way underneath the ball, and then basically just hit a musty from that point onwards. Okay, maybe I lied. Saying it out loud does show how complicated it is, because you have to do these sort of like 3 or 4 parts, and you have to do it while in a perfect position to actually pull off the musty. A lot of times when you try it, you won't actually be where you need to be to musty. There's plenty of tutorials on this move on YouTube if you guys want to try and give it a shot. It's super fun to mess around with. I have pulled it off before in custom training, but yeah, I've never pulled it off in a game. I'm pretty terrible at it, and that's because it's really hard. Like, it's even harder than it looks. All right, number 5 goes to what is, in my opinion, the most slept on move in Rocket League, a move that is truly unstoppable if you let someone pull it off on you. And this is a move that doesn't get used nearly enough and is usually only broken out in most ranks where there's sort of a mistake. Really only top level players know how to be useful at this move, and they really understand how overpowered it is. This is the low 50-50. A well-executed low 50-50, there's really just nothing you can do against it. I still haven't found a way to stop a low 50-50 if I've let someone pull it off on me, and the sad thing is you just always go flying out of position and they score. It's a goal every single time. And anybody can do them. It's really just a feel thing. There's nothing complicated about it. Just dribble the ball at your opponent and pretty much let it drop off of your car. Or if you're in a situation where you're sort of challenging and you have the timing right, you can just kind of sit low behind the ball and maybe jump a little bit when they sort of come in and challenge, and you'll sort of just pinch the ball out in front of yourself while they go flying over you. If you watch high level ones, you'll actually see this all the time. You might not have noticed it, but if you go watch some of Johnny Boy's 1v1s and look for them, you'll see people doing it all the time. Like in his recent Salt Mine 2 championship, this happened multiple times. I believe it was O'Khaled who just kept doing it and is obviously super good at it and knows how to time it perfectly. It's really overpowered, and I can't stress how good this move is. It's a move that you already have the ability to do. You just need to sort of put it in your backpack and give it a try. All right, guys, there are 5 somewhat unstoppable moves in Rocket League that range from super flashy to extremely basic, but incredibly effective. You guys can go into free play and practice most of these moves right now, or jump into a 1 or 2s match in, say, unranked, and really focus on these things. Let me know down in the comments how well these moves work for you, or maybe some other amazing unstoppable moves that you think maybe belonged in this list and that you use to win matches and score more goals. All right, we'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace out.